Well, this is the third, I think, of my monologues whilst I've been away from everything, taking a complete and relaxing break. If you haven't seen the other ones, then they should be up on the channel, so do check them out. I'm on the west, I'm on the Kennet and Avon, heading west, at a place, if I remember, it's Kintbury, on a day in which the weather is just bubbling up into a beautiful sunny day. It's burning off all the clouds, and by this delightful bridge, number 76, just behind me. And I've been talking, I suppose, in the last couple of videos or the last couple of monologues where I've been away, on the serenity of being away, the wonders of getting away from all the media, and getting back to nature. And today I just wanted to sort of continue with that theme a little bit. One of the things that I noticed very early on was people in the comments when I was talking about what the government were up to and what was coming down the line, where people were saying to me, Richard, if you just turn off the television, turn off the internet, throw away your analog phone, it all goes away. And that is true, of course. For a time it does go away, but of course things will be happening in the background that you won't know about. And then perhaps when you suddenly enter into a 15-minute city, you suddenly discover all the biometric cameras. I think it must be wonderful to have this life where you can escape onto, say, a canal or onto a farm, and you're not there in the hurly-burly. But of course most people are there in the hurly-burly of life. We're all trying to earn a living and we're all trying to pay our way. But we have to, I think coming away from it makes you realise what you will lose. If you stay in the hurly-burly, if you stay in there all the time, incrementally these things go on around you. The cameras go up, the cycle lanes come in, the potholes in the roads. I've spoken about that fairly recently. And in the end, it wears you down and you get used to it. And in some sense, you have to get out of it to get into the country or away from those towns and villages, I think, because when you come back, suddenly the immediacy of all those things that if you're there, like the frog being boiled alive, but slowly, you don't notice. But when you come back, you notice it full on. And I'm sure that when I'm back from my little trip, it will be, oh my goodness, look at all of this, the busyness, well, everything, the whole thing. At the moment where I live, I'm not that aware of hotels or houses being used to put up these people coming in the boats or the immigrants coming in through the main routes. And I know as soon as you start talking about this, of course, people will get very upset and they'll call you racist and all these sort of terms. But there is a worry, of course, that so many people are coming into this country now, all of, shall we say, fighting age, all males mostly, and they're being put into houses and we don't know quite what for. Good morning to you. So that's clearly a worry. And it isn't as if the government are really addressing any of this. They make the noises to address it, but months and years go on and still nothing happens. And you can't help feeling that really and truly, as I think Suella Braverman herself said, it is an invasion. It is an invasion by the back door. We're just letting people come in. We didn't let them come in 1066. They came in force, but we did stand our ground and try to do something about it. But at the moment, nobody seems to want to do anything about it other than moan. And you could argue that's what I'm doing. Good morning. There's a lot of dog walkers on the footpath, of course, on an early morning like this. I watched a video this morning trying to keep in touch when the signal permits. When you're out in the country, of course, you know, the signal is not always here, which actually with all the EMF, those electric, whatever it stands for, electric something frequency, I'm not quite sure what the M stands for, but anyway, it's nice to get away from that, of course, that's another thing. Although, you know, I don't know whether 5G will ever come down onto the canals, let's hope not. But I was watching this video with a chap, and he was very much talking about something I mentioned, good morning, on my video not so long ago about these people who, we don't know, do we really, but we're told that they are controlled opposition. Shills, I think the term is. I still, as I say, you know, it's a very strange word and I'm not very familiar with it. Anyway, I watched this video and this chap was talking about these people who were supposedly shills and was mentioning them by name and going through them. Now, what I find very interesting is that the people that do this on videos very often don't show their own faces. So they hide behind anonymity, and then they criticize people who may be or may not be people who I'm sure my audience will be very familiar with. Now, what I found particularly interesting was I've actually spoken personally to, on camera and off camera, to 3 of these people who were being accused of controlled opposition. And I've spoken to them when they're in a more relaxed mode, talking to them. And I just wonder whether the person who made that video, and I won't mention his name, but whether he's actually spoken to them. And I think there's a lot of people who are either on YouTube or on these other channels who in and of themselves talk about issues that are wrong, but they don't really offer solutions. That's one thing, and may not have actually spoken to the people who then they are accusing of being these controlled opposition or shills. Now, I have spoken to some of them, and I think that is an important aspect of it, because it's only when you speak to somebody off camera that you get a sense of who they are, and you know whether they've got children, for example, and whether, if they are supposedly controlled opposition trying to push us into this awful state. There's a train just about to rumble through. Parallel. You can't see it, but it's just rumbling through. You know, it's good to know something about these people and talk to them. And I may well be talking to more of them when I do the Better Way conference, which actually should be on as not as I'm recording this, when these videos go out. I'm trying to cover myself so there's content whilst I'm away. So I've started to now think that those people who claim, oh no, I can't show my face, I'm anonymous, I think to myself, why is that? Why? I've made myself very clear who I am, and that people can check me out. I've had people ringing me up at home, of course, loads and loads of emails, and I struggle with the emails. Sometimes I get emails addressed to me as Richard Vobes and team. Well, there's only me. I mean, the lovely Julia watches my content to make sure it's okay and supports me, but it's only me who answers the email. I'm busy with interviews, I'm busy recording these, and I'm busy doing my own research. And sometimes I'm away, I have a family, of course, and so it's not always possible just to be dedicated to answer emails to everybody. And they're unsolicited, so there just comes a point when you've got over 2,000 emails and you're trying to catch up that you just simply have to say, look, I'm sorry, I can't do this. You've sent me the email unsolicited, so I will do my best, and I will do my best, of course. Now, I'm not trying to sort of say don't email me. I think it's very important that people have access to me, and if you want, I mean, these are just my opinions. I'm not trying to foist my ideas down on anybody. But currently, I'm now very much interested in solutions. I think it is important that we take back that responsibility for ourselves, that we move away from this tyrannical government, that we find another system. People who keep talking to me about, oh, there's this act here or this bit of legislation or it's illegal to do this. To me, all of that is now old hat and it's wrong. We need collectively, I think, as a population going forward, is a whole new system, a different type of way of administering ourselves. I daren't call it government. I think that's over. And I think once the great rising has come up, a peaceful rising of people, and the people of this land decide for themselves how they actually want to be governed, I think the old voting business, the old House of Commons and all of that now is redundant, and that there will be another way. We need to take back responsibility for our health, stop eating crap food, stop eating too much sugars and processed rubbish. We need to get back to getting out into the land, I believe, growing our own food, and local, another train. So I think it's the Great Western Railway here. And take responsibility for ourselves once more on a much more local level, almost starting again. So it's not about toppling or aggressively getting rid of, it's just turning our back really on all of this and saying, do you know what, I am responsible for myself. I am responsible for my family. I will start up a grassroots organisation to grow food, to create more independent jobs, to move away from big corporations with their tiers of hierarchy and each tier pushing down on the tier below. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. And I think intrinsically people know that. So this has been very cathartic, getting away from even just all the other alternative media. Even though people are sending me links, at the moment I can't look at any of the links. I don't have a strong enough signal. I've only got so much limited data. And more I'm feeling, do you know what? I want to just withdraw from all of that and breathe fresh air and live a quiet and peaceful, humble life.